And we see an example of this in Numbers chapter 20. Turn with me to Numbers chapter 20. And today we're going to flip around and just look at a few examples of Edom, the Edomites, and how they opposed Israel. Numbers chapter 20. Now, just to give you the context here, this is when the children of Israel were in the wilderness. When they're in the wilderness, they're being led by the Lord by a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. They're trying to follow the Lord wherever the Lord is leading them. And as they're following the Lord, they came to the land of Edom. You remember the picture. They come to the land of Edom, Numbers chapter 20, verse 14. Now Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. And here's his message. Thus says your brother Israel. Remember, Jacob and Esau, they're brothers. And so this is family. Moses sends the message. Thus says your brother Israel. You know all the hardship that has befallen us, how our fathers went down to Egypt, and we dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians afflicted us and our fathers. When we cried out to the Lord, he heard our voice and sent the angel and brought us up out of Egypt. Now, here we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. Here's the request. Please let us pass through your country. We will not pass through fields or vineyards, nor will we drink water from your wells. We will go along the King's Highway, which was a highway that went north-south through the land of Edom. We'll go along the King's Highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand or to the left until we have passed through your territory. So this is his request. Hey, brother, it's us, Israel. You know what we've been through, and now we're wandering around in this desert. We just want to pass through your land. We're not going to eat your food. We're not going to drink your water. We're going to stay on the interstate. We're not going to take any exits while we're passing through your land. We just want to pass through. That's all we want to do. So, verse 18, then Edom said to him, you shall not pass through my land, lest I come out against you with the sword. So the children of Israel said to him, we will go by the highway, the King's Highway, and if I or my livestock drink any of your water, then I will pay for it. Let me only pass through on foot, nothing more. Then he said, you shall not pass through. So Edom came out against them with many men, with an army, and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory. So Israel turned away from him. The Israelites were trying to follow God. They're trying to follow the Lord, but the Edomites would not cooperate. And the Edomites refused to let the Israelites pass through their land. So the Israelites had to turn back and backtrack through that desert that we just saw the picture of. Again, Edom is a picture of the flesh. And the flesh opposes the Spirit. And when you or me, when we try to follow the Lord and do what the Lord's asking us to do, the flesh will come against us and try to stop us and prevent us from following the Lord and stop you from walking in the Spirit, just like the Edomites opposed the Israelites. Came and said, no, you're not coming here. You're not going to do that. And stopped them. Let me show you another example. Turn back to Genesis chapter 36, where we were. Genesis 36. And in verse 16, in this genealogy, this list of names, there's a name I want to draw your attention to. In verse 16, the third chief that's mentioned there, you have Chief Korah, Chief Gatam, and Chief Amalek. Chief Amalek. One of the chiefs of the Edomites that is mentioned in verse 16 is a man named Amalek. And from Amalek came the Amalekites. The Amalekites. The Amalekites are descendants of Esau. And again, the Amalekites are a picture or a type of the flesh. Turn with me over to Exodus chapter 17, the very next book, Exodus chapter 17. Now, the context here, the children of Israel have just come out of Egypt. They've just crossed through the Red Sea just back in chapter 14. So at this point, they've been in the wilderness only a couple months. So they're still getting accustomed to surviving in the desert and trusting God for daily food and water, right? And so verse 1 now says, "Then all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink." So they set out on this journey. They're in the desert. You saw the picture of the desert. They're in this desert. There's 2 to 3 million Israelites, including women and children, plus they've got livestock, and they've run out of water. Now, a person can survive only about 3 days without water, less in the desert, under the sun and the heat, and dehydration sets in very quickly in the desert. So the fact that they run out of water in the desert, this is a major crisis. And they've got a very short amount of time to get water. And they've got 2 to 3 million people, and they've got old people and babies and women and children and livestock, the whole thing. And they need to get enough water for a lot of people in a very, very short amount of time before people start dying. So now verse 2, "Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, 'Give us water that we may drink.' So Moses said to them, 'Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?' And the people thirsted there for water, and the people complained against Moses and said, 'Why is it you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? We're going to die out here.' And so Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, 'What shall I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me.' And the Lord said to Moses, 'Go on before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock of in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock.'" You guys know this story. "And water will come out of it, and the people may drink." And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Massah, or Meribah, because of the contention, which is what Meribah means, contention, of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" So what happens here? They come into a crisis. They're out of water. And they've only got days before people are going to start dying. And God does this amazing miracle where he causes water to come out of the rock. And God supernaturally provides water for the people. The people drink the water. They're recovering from their dehydration. Because if you've ever been dehydrated, it's not like you drink a glass of water and you're good to go, right? So they're recovering there, getting their strength back, when what happens? Look at verse 8. "When now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim.